If you can't handle the comments online, you're definitely not ready for Olympia stage. What's up? This is Iron OGs, King Kamali, Chris Cook. We're keeping under 30 minutes today, and we're talking about something the industry doesn't like to admit. What's up? All right. So the athletes melting down, guys. Hello, can you hear me?
I lost you guys for a second.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
All right, here we go. All right. Technical difficulties fixed.
So we got athletes melting down, and we got Martin, doing people. You got Fuad. Did you guys hear about Fuad? What he was saying about Martin? Huh?
You locked up a little bit, man. Say that again.
Did you guys hear about Fuad? What he's saying about Martin?
Fuad and Martin. Why don't you refresh everybody what's going on with these two now, which is kind of ridiculous. You don't bite the hand of the guy that feeds you, man.
Yeah. So did you guys hear what Fuad said though?
No.
Yeah. I caught a little snippet of it for sure, but I thought that Fuad maybe I'm a little behind on things, but I thought Fuad had due to budget constraints had cut him as an athlete anyway. Is that not right?
Well, I mean, they didn't come out and say that. But I mean, he came out and said what he was paying Martin. He said that he was paying him $100K a year.
Yeah.
So that probably means he's probably was paying Samson double or triple that. And
well, I mean, it makes sense.
He didn't like
right?
that.
I mean,
yeah. I mean, he didn't like that. That he predicted Samson to win. Over him. He didn't like that. So I mean, that's where he got his feelings hurt. He's very sensitive. You gotta remember, he's younger though. He's younger than all these guys. He's like, I think 28. And these other guys are 40.
Yeah, he just turned 29 in January. Yeah.
Yeah, and he blocked Fuad. Fuad was trying to.
That's no excuse.
Yeah, Fuad was trying to look him up. He was trying to look him up, and he blocked him. He was like, he was online. He was trying to look him up. He's like, oh, I guess I'm blocked. We were high school blocking people on social media.
Yeah, there's some people in the industry that have thin skin. Okay, some good guys in the industry who I really, really like. I'll bring up a name. He's my dog, Dexter. Dexter does not like negative. I wouldn't even say that. He just doesn't like negativity in his life. Anything negative, Dexter blocks out. He goes, I have nothing to do with that, and he'll push it away. He just wants to stay positive. And I totally understand that. I, on the other hand, I'm the exact opposite. I feed off of negative.
Yeah.
I love the negative. Bring it. You know why? Because I came up in the getbig.com era, where it was the wild, wild west, and fuck you and this and that. And you know how many times, I don't know, Chris, if you went through this, how many times I say, I'll be at the Muscle Tech booth from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Just show up. And in 10 years, not one person showed up. Nobody.
Yeah, that's true. And you had some famous ones, King, man. I remember leading up to the Nationals, man, you and Aaron Madron, it was a battle, man. And it was a fight. And, that's a lot of people show up just for that drama, man, to see how this thing's going to play out,
Yeah, Chris, let me tell you something about that Aaron Madron. Aaron's a great kid. I'm not kid. Great guy. We got along afterwards. We actually went to Spain and we guest posed for Sandy over there, and we were there for a week, and it was just a whole crew of us. Titus was there too.
Oh shit!
As ironic as that sounds, but Amy Fadley was there. Brandy Madron was there. Tito Raymond was there. We had an amazing time, and we all got to know each other and get close and stuff. But with Aaron, it was the Nationals. I just crushed prejudging heavyweights. He crushed prejudging super heavyweights. We knew it's going to come down to me and him. I'm laying behind the SciTech booth on the floor. My mom is sitting next to me holding my hand, and we're just sitting here doing the mommy son thing. And I saw Aaron walking with 3 of the judges already talking about him winning the overall. And I look, and the SciTech guys looked back at me and they were shaking their heads, and I went like this. Let it go. That's fine. Because I know what I was about to do with my posing routine and stuff. It doesn't matter. I'm still going to get my pro card. I don't care, which I did a little bit. But these are the little things. Yeah, you just have to let it slide off, man. Okay, so it happened. All right, I'll see you on the pro stage, and let's see what happens there.
Yeah. And it really, it's a very interesting thing, right? I think because from a structural perspective, looking at your physique relative to his over the long term, everyone knew the long-term outcome of that from a competitive perspective. But, he was hitting all the marks, right? From a marketing perspective and from a revenue perspective, and that whether people want to believe that exists, it just does. It's even if it's not intentional, it's like a byproduct of kind of what you're always seeing, right? It's like I used to talk about, if you're back in the Dell days, remember when we would have to buy a CD because of the one song on that whole CD, right? And then you get tired of just like hitting replay or whatever, and so you end up listening to that whole CD over a period of time, and after a while you're like, actually I kind of like the whole CD. It's pretty good. That familiarization. And that's why marketing works. That's why putting something in your face over and over and over influences people. And I think that was what you saw there. And then, obviously when you guys turn pro, the answers were very clear there. Right.
And also another thing that all 3 of us can attest to is people that you have around you that are going to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Not blow smoke up your ass. And, right after, because Chad couldn't make it to the Nationals, there was some a tornado that went through Springfield, and he called me up like, bro, I can't make it. Are you gonna be all right? I'm like, I got this. Don't worry about it. I got this. We just did the whole phone thing, but he told me right out. I remember we were in Planet Hollywood. We're celebrating. I just got my pro card. Blah blah blah. He goes, I'm like, so what's next? He goes, yeah, you're not ready. I'm like, yeah. He goes, yeah, you need a year or 2 if you want to make an impact. And that's when I had that conversation with him. I said, okay, but how am I going to get paid? How am I going to live? He goes, I'll take care of that. And him and Kim, that's why I will always love those 2 forever. They went to Weider. I got my Weider contract.
Really?
I was set. Those checks were going to come every month. I will do all the appearances.
Wow.
I just didn't have to compete because Chad was there, and he had Nasser, Flex, Chris.
Yeah.
Ronnie. Of course they're going to listen to him, right?
Yeah.
So I got on that train, and again, forever. And
dude, that's awesome. I didn't know Chad did that for folks, man. That's really cool,
bro. People just don't understand it because Chad is, he's a cop. He's a big Midwestern, lumberjack. Look at his son, going up to Sean Ray and saying, "Don't fucking talk about my dad, or I'll kick your ass." That's Chad.
Yeah.
You just had to know how to deal with him. And I was the perfect client for him because if he told me to eat dirt, he knew I was going to eat dirt.
Yeah.
He had no question. He would come to my room and Kim would look at me and she'll nod her head and they'd leave in 2 seconds because they knew if I had to eat steak and I had to fucking shove it down my throat with a fucking stick, I'm going to eat it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it was easy to work with him. Easy.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. That's a great story, man.
Unlike you and Hani.
Yeah. Yeah. It just didn't work. It didn't work that well, yeah. But I mean, I think part of the issue was with Hani, Hani at the time wasn't yet really a truly proven commodity, if you will, with regard to his, and because we kind of grew up together, there was a lack of respect on my side too. It's not all him, right? I mean, the way he handled it drove me absolutely crazy, and I could bitch about that all day. But you know, there was a little bit of like, bro, you know, on some things. But yeah, nonetheless, man, those are good times. I've always respected, like, Chad has always been chill. I had a very interesting story. The very first Olympia that I went to, I ended up sitting behind, or maybe it wasn't the Olympia. It might've been the Emerald Cup, and Kim was there, and she was at a booth, and we got to talking, and she invited me to come sit behind, you know, where she was sitting, so that she could still manage, you know, people. And we just sat there and had a conversation for like 2 hours, like between her and Chad and me.
That's awesome.
And I was just this young kid. I was nobody, right? But they were so humble like that. And I just thought, what an amazing human, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
they're both great. And then even, you know, bringing up Hani, Armon, that's the first question I asked him when me and Armon started talking and becoming good friends. I was like, yo, man, what's the secret to Hani? And Armon would laugh and say, there's no fucking secret. It's the same shit that we all know.
Yeah.
He did the same thing as Chad. He did the same thing as Chad. Come to your room, you know, check on you again. I mean, he even gave me his wife's a chiropractor, and then he was like, hey, let me adjust you. I was like, do you know how to adjust people, honey? Yeah. And he's like, yeah, lay down. And he adjusted me. It was fine. I was like, shit, I hope he doesn't break my neck or back before I get on stage. But just like 2 days before the show, and he adjusted me. Come back to your room again. And he's like, hey, here's a special pill. Don't lose this. This is like a $30 pill. I was like, what is it, quinine? And he's like, yeah, dude. I was like, dude, I got a whole bottle at home. I got my insurance base for it. And I was like, so he was trying to make it sound like he had some magic pill for me to take. And then he had this powder. He's like, take this powder also. It's, you know, this. I'm like, what is it? Just like nitrogen? Like, dude, I already know all this stuff, honey. There's no, like, there's no secret powders or pills or, you know, I don't know if you guys took quinine for cramping, but
I did.
He's like, don't lose.
No, I never did. I mean, that experience with me was with Cytodrin. Like, Cytodrin was like this new, like, you know, phenomenal, knock out all the estrogen, dry you up, make you crisp type thing. And Hani, literally, it's like, you know, we virtually smashed his shit up and snorted it, right? He was like, bro, you got to do it this way so it'll hit you hard. I mean, you know, and it was just
snorted it. You snorted
no,
it?
We didn't literally, but it was treated as if it was something, you know, that level, right? And
Chris, that Cytodrin works on some people and it doesn't on. I'm not saying it does. I shouldn't say it works. Cutler did that for the Arnold Classic 1 year, and that was the year he looked like a shrunken. He was his conditioning was outstanding, but it did not look good on him.
Yeah,
you know, so you have to do that experimentation. Amin was really big on Cytodrin. You know, 250 milligrams every 6 hours on the nose, all the way up 1 week. And it gets you. And when you wake up in the morning, your knees are popping, your neck is popping, your fingers are popping. I went through that whole thing too. But I also noticed that it gives you a different look. Either it matches your framework and your genetics, or it doesn't.
And that's exactly what I experienced, man. Like, I had my body when I'm full is like a completely different human versus when I'm flat. And so, and that was the problem that I had in every show that I did. We actually I didn't hang in there long enough to actually figure out the real formula, right? I mean, for the nationals, when I won, Chris just dried me out so much to where we just made it work, you know, because I just was big enough, you know, to handle it.
Right.
But that was nationals. That's there was a big contrast between that and, you know, list the pro show, right? So,
right.
But with the Cytodrin, it was, you know, it's made for Cushing syndrome, right? So a lot of people, like my friend Chris Jalali, you know, rest in peace. Some people would do it 2 weeks out. Some people would. John O'Regan, I mean, you know, guys remember him. He used to prep a lot of the East Coast guys for free. He was prepping Chris. He had Chris starting at like 8 weeks out, and that's the year he went to the USA's. It was kind of like an Andreas Munster thing. Like, so he went to the USA's. I told the story before. And I'm like, dude, why are you? I never tried Cytodrin at all, but you know. And then Cutler, he said he never took a Arimidex when he was competing. He was using Cytodrin. Then when Arimidex came popular and people started using Arimidex, that's when, you know, people started using Arimidex and kind of Cytogen kind of disappeared. They weren't really getting. I used it on a couple of my clients, and then like King said, some people that had a really hard time getting hard, even with anti-estrogens, even pulling them down hard. I was able to get Cytogen through a script, and CVS still had it, and I used it on one of my clients one year, and it dried him out, and he looked amazing. He looked the best he ever looked. But with Chris, he started Cytogen like 6 or 8 weeks out. He went to USA's, and he was a light heavyweight. Stepped on stage, and I believe John O'Regan was coaching him, but he had Hani coaching him too. So he was like listening to both of them. And so John O'Regan was telling him to take like triple the amount of stuff Hani was telling him to take. So he liked that because Chris loved taking as much as possible. And so after prejudging, I wasn't there. He was there, his fiance. His fiance calls me. She's a nurse. She was like, "Hey, Chris is puking. This and this." I was like, "Listen, he's been taking halotestin for 6 to 8 weeks. He started all his oral, like he started Halo, not 2 weeks out, not 3 weeks out. It's like started like 6 to 8 weeks out. Plus, like every single other oral on there was like 8 weeks out." So she calls me crying. She's like, "They're like all his organs are failing." Okay, so he was in ICU, and you got to remember, going from Texas to Vegas. Vegas is dry too. So it's a different environment. So he was in the ICU. They didn't know if he was going to live or not. He was in the ICU for 2 weeks. Not 2 weeks, a month. He came back, and I'm like, this is when I was, I think, 20. And so I go to his apartment to visit him after he got back. I don't know what kind of shape he's in. They just kind of told me, a month in ICU. So weighing about 200 pounds on stage, comes back. He's 140 pounds. All his hair fell out. His eyebrow hair, his lashes, his eyes were completely red, like not bloodshot, completely like blood red. His skin was scaling. His fingernails fell out, and he had a cane, and his quad was as big as my wrist. And I literally started crying when I saw him. This is my best friend. It was like my brother, Chris Jalali. He was a national guy, tons of magazine covers. But I started crying, and that scared me from bodybuilding. So that next year, I didn't compete at all. I took off everything, and I only took HCG for like a few weeks, and I took off everything, and I built up my personal training business even more. I was working out in Dallas at like an all-gay gym, but it was making crazy money. That scared me so much, but I'm like looking at it like, dude, I'm not taking anywhere close to that, but it still scared me from bodybuilding to make me take off a year. And then when I got back into it, I was like, okay, this is not bodybuilding. This is something that he's doing extreme, and he's just doing extreme stuff. And then after that, you think he would quit. He didn't, kept going, got liver cancer. His liver was covered in tumors. And this is like, Chris, when you go back to Hani was still his coach at this time, and Hani stopped answering his calls because he had cancer. And I'm like, and then Hani, I started working with Hani at the time too, and Hani was like, "I don't know what Chris wants from me. I can't deal with him because he's sick." And I'm like, you can't answer his phone call because he has cancer, and you don't want to associate with yourself.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
I was like, not the coaching part, like just being a friend, because they were friends. They were working together for like 3 years. Just on the friend standpoint, you won't pick up his calls because he's got freaking cancer. That's cold. And that's when I started seeing that side where, like my experience I've told before too, when anything goes south, if legal trouble, health issues, Hani split, he's gone. You're not doing well as an athlete, boom, drops you, right away. No, with Kuklu. But that was the scary thing about Cytogen that I only dealt with was through Chris. And,
Amin's protocol was 2 weeks out. I did it for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's it. You can't. I don't know. I go back to the same thing that I've said many times. I said it last time when we were talking with Chris. I don't understand the new dosages. I don't understand how they're even walking around. Like the example I keep going back to was, I do 10 IUs of Humatrope. I couldn't feel my hands. It was so uncomfortable. And I remember Theresa Bostic, she was the Ronnie Coleman version of female bodybuilding. She was in my gym. She'd be walking next to me. She would be like, "What the fuck's wrong with you?" I was like, my hands. I can't feel it's uncomfortable. And then she's like, "Yeah, you're going to have to stop that for a little bit." And I did. And I mean, and to go to 30 IUs and all, I just don't get it.
And
yeah, I had the same experience. I'd be driving down the road, just my hand on the steering wheel, my hands would go to sleep, you know, and it really did, like, it sucked. It was not a good quality of life for that, you know, and like I said, the highest I ever took, I used Sizen, and the most I ever took was 6 IUs. And man, I was like, I literally felt like I was going to explode.
Yeah.
And I mean, so, but you know, I think that this is where you get into that, you know, there's just a higher, like we call them, you know, hyper reactive, or, you know, folks that where their body reacts very good on small dosages. I think that's another element of good genetic disposition. And I think the majority of guys at their highest level, that's how they actually are, right? And that's why also they tend to have longer careers. It's like, and then you look at these animals, these freakazoids that are doing this, and you know, they come and they go because, I mean, obviously their body just breaks down, you know. But you got to just have some element of logic in this, you know, like, you know, rational, just, you know.
Well, Chris, everybody's doing it now, so they're looking at everybody else, and they're all doing it. I mean, before they're even competing, at 16 years old, they're starting 10 IUs of growth, a few grams of gear a week. The constant messages, especially on TikTok, I don't even answer messages on there because every message is like from a 14 or 15-year-old kid. Hey, can you give me tests? Hey, can you sell me tests? And I always make videos about, like, hey, I do not sell drugs. Do not contact me for drugs,
Right.
especially, you know, being a teenager. And I'll tell them, hey, listen, if you wait and start, they're like, that's just bullshit. I don't know why you're gatekeeping. You won't give me your source. And people get mad. Like, this guy just hired me. And we did a consult, went over everything, paid me. He's so excited. And then he's like, okay, so I need, can you send me your source so I can get everything I need? I go, bro, I'm a coach. I don't send out sources to, like, people I just meet. Like, I don't have a source that I can just give you. That's actually illegal. Like, people don't understand that's illegal. If you give somebody a source, that's still conspiracy. You know, you still can get in trouble for that. You know, there's
another aspect here, and I've talked about it before with Armon, but Chris, since you're new to the team, there was also a time, which I'm sure I would like you to confirm this to the kids too, from another. It's always good to have another person to talk about it. There was a time where the top 3 guys at the nationals or the USAs were stars. Like, we were stars already. We were already on the covers of magazines. And I remember everybody was like, yep, this is Chris Cormier. Nobody knew his last name. Was it Cormier? Is it Cormier? Some guy's named Chris from California. That Dennis Newman, Flex Wheeler this year, Mike Matterall. You already knew the names that were coming up. Who won the USAs last year, Chris?
Oh, I don't know.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That stopped like
won last year. Who did this? We don't know. This is what happens now. If you go, and if Jim Manuel was standing here, who I call Big Pop, I mean, Jim has seen me, you know, like grow up in front of his eyes. If Jim Manuel was here, he would say, yo, King, but it's good for the sport. We grew the sport. You know, he's the sports guy, and I get that, but it also whitewashed the sport. It made everybody, these kids, like, when somebody says I'm a pro, I put my hand, like, I'm like, dude, you know what it was like back then? It was like a dream come true to become a professional bodybuilder. You were the best of the best. You were the 1% of the genetic freaks of the. Those days are done, bro. Done.
Yeah, we got in Dallas. We got a lot of influencer gyms. You know, going to the gym and everybody's like, "I'm a pro. I'm being trained by a pro." And the guy looks like he doesn't even work out, or he literally he just started. He either got his pro card in men's physique or classic physique, and you know, barely $150, $160, and I'm a pro. I'm IFBB pro, and then I'll get someone. They're like, "Oh, well, my last coach was an IFBB pro," and so I'm like, "Who's your coach?" And he's to me, I'm like, "This guy's a men's physique guy that's done like one show and got his pro card, and like." Has been competing for 2 years. We're at the 24-minute mark. Let's move on to Nick. So Nick, he signed with Morfogen, right? And I guess he's part owner. Did you guys see all that?
Yep. Yeah, congrats, man. That's awesome.
Do you guys think that was a smart move for Nick? All these companies out there, I'm sure he's got a lot of different offers. A company that's a small company. I've never heard of Morfogen. Have you guys?
Mm-mm.
No.
No.
Signing on to a small company, but he's part owner. So was that, but then here's the thing with Nick, though. You got other people that are great business people. Nick, great bodybuilder, not so, I don't see him so much of a great businessman, though. So being a part owner, what does that entail with him kind of going into this
taking
company?
a huge risk.
Yeah.
Huge risk. You know why? But I respect the fact that he's putting that much confidence in himself. He's betting. This is how I see this whole contract thing with this new company. He's betting he's going to kick ass at the Arnold Classic. That's what he's betting on right now. He is putting everything on his own shoulders, saying, I'm going to go into the Arnold Classic. He, in his mind, he knows he can beat Andrew. He knows it. I know Nick Walker's mentality right now. I know I can beat Andrew. Hadi right now is politically in a really shitty situation. The Iranians absolutely hate his guts.
Burning his pictures. Yeah.
The Jews absolutely hate his guts. It's just gotten so that's the politics. We put that aside. And Hadi's too fucking confident. Chris, you haven't seen the videos that he's been putting out in Farsi. He's already he's like, no, he thinks he's won. He thinks that his name is on that $750,000 check. No one can even stand next to him. And you both know, and when it comes to bodybuilding, you cannot talk like that, man. You can't. One little piece of food, and if it's that bad and your stomach goes fucked up, that's it. You're done, man.
Yeah.
Do you guys think this is going to hurt him?
Sorry, go ahead, bud.
Do you guys think this is going to hurt him with his judging, honestly?
So we're talking about Nick, right?
No. Hadi.
You think about Hadi. Okay. Well,
going into Arnold.
I mean, look, Hadi. I mean, if there's anybody that's pretty damn consistent about coming in crisp, it's. I mean, if you had to bet on someone remaining tight or being, continuing, and he's just got a trajectory where they know how to dial him in pretty well, right? So he'll be tight, but there's just so many other factors like we were talking about before, right? If some of these other guys come in right, when they're just a bigger structure human being, it just makes it for difficult times. The other issue I think that is there that no one really wants to talk about, but it's like when Hadi was an Olympia champion, bro, he wasn't a great Olympia champion, not because of any other reason, but because he doesn't speak English. He's got that deaf thing, so he doesn't talk very well. He's stuck in the Middle East where he doesn't have fluidity or the ability to promote, if you will. So there's just factors that put strain on the business of bodybuilding with that. And the Arnold, I think, is a little bit less of that because I think there's just less writing on that from a promotional perspective, but nonetheless, it's still a factor. Look, I think he's bold. He's been doing it for a long time now. Maybe this is just his reaction to all the negativity and all the hardship that he's going through in that regard. So, I don't know that it influences the actual judges, him putting this stuff out. I mean, media now, back in the day, King, when you and I, we'd put up bold statement or something like that would get published. It was different, man, because it was a one-off kind of like, oh shit, did you hear what he was saying? Like, whereas
Chris,
now,
let me stop you there. Not just him doing that, but Hadi being hated by Iran and Hadi choosing basically the terrorist group, the total insane Islamic people that's killing everybody, like siding with that.
Chris, let me just give you a vision of what's been happening in the past 2 weeks.
All right.
Every single gym in Iran has ripped down his pictures from the walls
or burned it.
Burned it and threw it in the street and videotaped it. Every single gym has put on and pictures of other national champions that have been murdered by the regime in the past month. Those pictures are going up now. And the hatred that the people have for him now, he can't ever, let me put it to you this way. He can't go back to Iran ever again. They'll kill him. They'll kill him and they'll kill his family. And it's getting so bad that as much as I don't like Hadi as a person, everybody knows I don't like him. I went on a Persian podcast and I said, leave his family out of this.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with his children. Don't fuck with his family. They have nothing to do with this. They're innocent. Please, I was pleading with them. And I got like 75,000 responses from people saying, you're King, you're a great man. I'm like, no, I'm just being like, because I know those kids have nothing to do with this.
Yeah, of course.
No, and then the Iranian people are so passionate. They hate him. And I put a warning out there too, just like I'm going to put a warning out now. If I was him, I'd be careful in Columbus because Iranians will show up. They'll show up to his fucking room. They'll show up to the venue. They'll show up to prejudging, and they will fucking let him have it. I'm telling you right now that this is not a joke. He's thinking that he's going to walk into Columbus, Ohio, and this and that. No, man. And then Hani's trying to back himself off because his Evergen is going down the toilet too because of Hani. The kids, Iranian kids aren't buying Evergen anymore if it's attached to Hadi Chupon. So it's
Chris,
the domino effect has already started.
Yeah.
Chris, what do you think Hani's saying to Hadi right now? Because we know he's coaching him. We know he's coaching him. Let's not be stupid. We know he's coaching him.
Yeah, for sure. Look, I mean, I hope what Hani is telling Hadi is to like the problem with Hani is that I think like a big percentage, probably 15 or 20% of his business is in Iran. He sells a massive portion of his products there. So he's going to be naturally bound to that issue relative to what he's going to give the guidance to Hadi. So there's got to be at least some guidance there to like save face somehow. I don't know. I mean, obviously cultural understanding is a massive piece here, King. And that's where you have that understanding that I don't, but you know, there's like the need, if his business went to zero in Iran, Hani's out of business.
Yeah.
The margins are not fat enough everywhere else in his business that he's going to survive. I'm just, you know, and I hope I'm wrong. I'm not.
You're not wrong. You don't have to hope, you don't have to hope, brother. I'll tell you right now, you're 100% on the money. They won't buy shit. Yeah, there's so many factors involved here, but I'm just letting you know right now that this is going to be a domino effect, okay? And that is exactly why Hani hasn't said anything yet. He doesn't have. I've made 1,000 posts on my Instagram about how much I hate what's happening and I grinding my teeth and please all the Iranians. Men, protect our women over there, make sure that they're not hurting because all they're doing is raping the women over there. You know, I've been going out and saying, and the response that I've been getting back from people is, thank you, King, thank you, thank you, thank you. What did Hadi do? Hadi said, it's your fault if you don't have any money. It's your fault if you're being raped. It's your fault.
Shit.
You should be doing, and then he saluted the Islamic flag. Bro, I'm telling you, they're gonna kill him. I'm telling you that right now.
Damn.
My dad was here over the weekend visiting. He lives in Arlington, but he just came here for the weekend, stayed with me and my wife and my son. He was on the phone constantly, on and off, because we still have I have uncle there and an aunt still there and cousins. And so he's on the phone with them, you know, back and forth nonstop, just talking and talking. Yeah, I mean, and I, like I said before, my aunt was killed in Iran by the government. She was shot in the head. My uncle was strapped down and tortured. They burned his feet. He has nerve damage in his feet to this day. Like when he can walk, but his nerve damage on his feet. So our family has experienced the crazy, you know, mullahs, Islamic, those crazy nut jobs over there. People don't understand what.
Dude.
Now people are extending Iran. Like what. You know, what the people want and what the government want. People at first was grouping Iranians all as like, oh, these terrorists and all this and that. They have no clue that the Iranian people hates the government. You know, since, you know, was 79, Iran was, it was a different place. I only heard about it. King, you were born in Iran and you, right?
Yeah. And but I came here when I was 4 years old.
Young,
My parents saw what was about to happen.
Yeah.
And they got the hell out of there. But listen, again, without going into all the politics and stuff like that, as much as I just said right now, as much as I'm passionate about my Iranian people and how much love I have for them. I'll still say it's Hottie's show to win or lose. I'll still say that.
Yeah.
Bodybuilding wise, he's going, if he's on the money, he's going to be hard to beat. But I'm going to throw this out to both you guys. So let's stay on the subject of the Unfiltered. I think even though he's got a fucked up shape and he's lumpy gumpy and all that stuff, I think if Nick Walker brings in the New York Pro condition with the with the added size, he could give Hottie some problems, serious problems.
You think?
You
I
gotta
don't
go
think.
shot
I
for
don't
shot.
know. I don't know.
Front double bicep, front lat spread. Okay, we'll give those to Hottie. Okay, side chest, Nick. Side tricep, too much muscle, Nick. Back double bicep, Nick. Back lat spread, it could go either way. Most muscular, who do you like? Do you like the conditioned striated or do you like the freak Godzilla? Okay, and abs and thigh we'll give to Hottie, right? Posing, they both suck. You know, when it comes to the finals and all that stuff, they both are, you know, they walk to this side and outside, they hit most muscular shots. Then you got symmetry. We'll give a little bit to Hottie, but then muscularity goes to Nick. It's close.
Yeah.
You know, and Andrew's the X factor because I've already fucking contacted Aceto and said hams and glutes. If Andrew brings in hams and glutes, he's riding this wave right now into the Olympia.
Yeah.
Okay. And everybody, I want to see Samson at 295 pounds competed against Andrew. That would be a great match.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I want to see that shit. So again, it's close, man. I don't know what you guys think, but I think Nick compares well. And Nick thinks I don't like him. He because I covered the comments I said in the past, he always he kind of stood back with me a little bit. He doesn't think that. But I'm telling you right now, Nick, if you're listening, you can do this, but you gotta be butt bone dry, crispy, fucking dry as a nun's ass, ready to go.
If you're betting, who's your money on? If you guys are betting, who's your money on? If you're literally betting $10,000, who's your money on?
If I got to put money, I'm putting on Andrew.
Okay.
Because
King?
Andrew, like he's just been around just long enough. He's kind of gone through the cycle, like he's had the struggles, right? And I think it's about that time where it just comes together for him. And if he does, I don't think that these guys, if all three of them at their best, I don't think can beat Andrew.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Chris right here. But I will say if Hottie wasn't having these political issues and all that stuff, and it was just him going into the show, I would have Hottie ahead of Andrew a little bit. But because of all the collateral damage and all that stuff, I'm gonna have to say he's gonna have that tip.
Yeah.
And then you guys got Martin probably at fourth, right?
Yeah.
It depends on Brandon. I still like Brandon, man.
I love Brandon too.
Getting old, Brandon is this, but I still think Brandon can. I mean, it depends on which Martin shows up.
Yeah.
If he's doing all this weird stuff, cereal and all that stuff, and comes in like way off like he did before, which we hope he learned his lesson.
Videos, Armon. I watched some of those videos. 1 scoop of peanut butter with 3 drops of oil. With that, I'm like, what the fuck happened?
Eating this like porridge-looking
grilled
thing,
chicken and fucking rice. Am I doing something? Were we doing something wrong back then? I don't know, man.
Well, last week from Sergio King, we heard that his coach, boss of Outlaw, Chris, I don't know if you heard, but your peak week protocol, your diuretics and all that, he gives to you ahead of time.
Preformed. Yeah, I did. I watched the episodes, you guys.
That's crazy. That makes no sense.
Come on.
That makes zero sense. That makes no sense at all.
Yeah, you can't. If it was that easy, man, shit, I would have been crisp as a dried chicken bone, man. Like it just doesn't come together.
How do you know someone needs 1 diazide, 3 diazides the night before? If when you don't even know what they look like, you're like, here's a sheet, follow this. That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's nuts.
I mean, you go into it having an idea if you've worked with them before as to how they've reacted in the past potentially. But that's on the macro side. But on the micro side, it all can change.
Chris, I got a story for you. I think I've told this on. You're gonna love this one. It was the USA's light heavyweights. Johnny Jackson, Chris Dim, Rob Lopez, Troy Alves. I mean, it was stacked. It was so stacked, in the first time in the history of the USA's, Mannion after they finished their call out, the first call out of the 5 guys, he told them, go backstage, but don't go anywhere. And I looked over at Bob Ciccarello. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? And then I looked over, and then I think it was Art, forgot his name.
Art Atwood.
He was a judge, and he goes, it's too close. We need to see him again. I ran backstage, and I saw Lopez starting to sweat. He was starting to sweat. I ran backstage, and I'm screaming for salt. CJ, rest in peace. I miss her so much. She goes, I got some sunflower seeds loaded with salt, and I grabbed them, and I'm shoving it down Lopez's throat. And he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, just fucking eat. I don't care. Swallow it however you can swallow it. And then everyone's backstage. He goes, what the fuck is King doing? Salt. You have to go with what you see, even when it's 10 minutes before something. Right. And guess what? That salt hit his fucking system. And he was the only one that was starting to pop while everybody was getting boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
So it matters. You got to be there to look and make decisions like that.
People don't know, like I had this middleweight one year. We were backstage and the show was kind of taking a little longer time. He was really flat, and I was like, I'm trying something a little crazy. We gave him 8 scoops of carbolin in a 30-minute period. And I made him, he's like, dude, I'm going to throw up. I was like, well, just keep drinking it until you're really going to throw up and we'll stop. We got in 8 scoops of glycogen. He went on that stage as a middleweight, looked like a light heavy, and won the whole show.
So how'd you balance that with, like, how much water did you mix with that?
So each scoop we did just enough water so it was like a putty pudding. Like just eat with a spoon. So he wasn't drinking it. So just basically eating it for like 30 minutes straight, and it worked for him. He swelled out, vascular, everything was full, big, and he was like, dude, that was nuts. That's crazy. So
another wake up call for me, Chris, was first time I got to compete against Dexter as a pro, and I'm backstage with my rice cake, a little bit of jelly, and here's Dexter with nachos and laughing at us. Y'all don't know what you're doing. Y'all don't know what you're doing. Y'all don't know what you're doing. I'm like, fuck, man. That child goes, no, man, that's Dex. You can't.
Yeah, well, that's a problem, bro, because I guarantee you fucking switch to the nacho, the nacho, and you're going to be so fucked up. It ain't going to work at all.
Yeah, when you have those types, that's when I started to really put 2 and 2 together, when I realized everyone's different. Everybody's, watching Phil Heath, the first time I saw Phil Heath backstage, fish and rice. That's probably what works for him. Fish and rice, and he stuck with it.
Yeah. You guys remember Michael Lockett, right? Michael Lockett?
Yeah.
So I competed, not in his weight class, but he was the weight class above me when I was competing. He's backstage both times eating a couple pieces of pizza, hamstrings all hairy as shit, no oil on him, didn't pump up at all, ate a couple slices of pizza, walk around just like it's another day, goes on stage and wins the show, or does amazing at the show. Hamstrings furry as shit. He only shaved the front of his quads.
Yeah, I know.
That sounds like Chuck Sanow. Chuck Sanow backstage wouldn't shave. He would have hairy armpits, and I was like, "Are you serious, man?" And I'm sitting here so meticulous about everything, and make sure it's down to a point. And just some people just don't care, man.
Well, I mean, I think that gets to, like, Sergio was talking about Chris Cormier and his attitude, like, and why he was so fun to be around during training and then prep. He's like, he expressed that as being one of his kind of best experiences, because there's just no rattling Chris, right? Yeah. Chris was just like, oh, like, cool. And as a result, Chris was like profoundly consistent. You know, I mean, he'd have a little bit of variance there in his hardness or whatever. But like, overall, the guy was just, he showed up looking pretty much the same all the time, you know? It's amazing. Yeah.
Did you guys ever take a pump product before? Oh, sorry. Go, Chris.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
No.
Did you guys ever take a pump product before going on stage, like a non-stem workout?
No, not for me, man. I mean, it was just too risky to I'd get spillover or something. And, you know, at least that's how we saw it. Shit, maybe I should have. I don't know. But
I did. And actually, my first product I made about 12 years ago was I got it right here. It's called Full Effect. We basically crammed as much citrulline, agmatine, and glycerol into one little scoop like that. And I had, it's called, we sold it as a pre-stage because there was no product like that. So we marketed it as a pre-stage. And my clients taking it, and we sold a lot of it, and we still sell a lot of it too. You take one scoop, and it worked really well with my clients. One scoop about 20, 30 minutes before you go up on stage with barely a sip of water, and it has a high count of niacin in it too. So yeah, it would make you hot, make you warm, make you vascular, and it works great. And we still sell it on our site to this day. So I would take it, and then I would have my clients they still take it to this day. But yeah.
Well, man, I listened to the story that Kevin Levrone talks about when he brought Ronnie Coleman in his room, right, and had him start drinking vodka, right? And then that story didn't come out until I was long out of the sport. And I was like, fuck, dude, I'll bet you that would have worked, because it's not, for me, a big portion of my spillover was just, I was always so nervous. I was like, in my mind, I had to win every show. And and I was just, I was just messing myself up just through my head, and alcohol obviously tends to just knock that edge off and give you that chill feel. And then of course, what it can do for you physiologically, like, I don't know, man, if I ever go back, I might throw in some vodka.
Well, Chris, what, Dave helped me out for a couple of years. Dave would have me do, he would have me take a Xanax or a Klonopin or Valium the night before. And then dude, I would just be, no, even before I met Dave, when my first trainer would take a Valium, Klonopin, or Xanax the night before, woke up and was just like, chill. Wasn't nervous, chill.
When I went to the Dubai Super Show a few years ago, I went outside to get some fresh air, and I saw about 30 bodybuilders chain smoking cigarettes.
Oh, yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, and I'm like, and I was a little strange, this and that. So then I asked my buddy, I'm like, yeah, I didn't know the smoking was so popular in Dubai. He goes, it's not. They believe that the smoke drops out. I'm like, man, yeah. I've seen a lot of things in my life before, but I haven't seen this one. This was new to me.
The problem is, bro, if it works, fuck, all right. I know.
Yeah, but they also slapped each other too. That's another thing. I don't know, Armon, did you ever see that? They're fucking each other's backs and slapping each other. And I'm like, why are they slapping? He goes, that because they think that brings them, that it fills them out a little bit. I'm like, oh boy.
No, I mean the NPC eventually banned Pam spray. You guys probably use Pam spray, right? Yeah, they banned that probably about 15 years ago. And then they banned alcohol. So because I judge too, if you saw anyone with alcohol backstage, dude, they're gone.
Yeah, I'll be the first person right now. I'm sorry. I'll be the first person right now. Every single one of my clients will be using Pam backstage. Sorry, NPC. Sorry. It gives you a
Why they do that though?
Why people were slipping because Pam's so slippery. So people were actually, a lot of people got hurt, Chris, in Texas. People were slipping backstage.
Oh man.
Because they work, Chris.
Nice golden glow, man. That's
it does. It works better than Jantana.
Yeah, you had to do the olive oil one, man, because it
you would have people use the butter kind sometimes. I'd go to someone, I was like, why? There's an original spray. You have the butter. One of my clients did one time. I was like, why didn't you buy the butter flavor? You smell like fucking butter.
Yeah, I love it. I don't know. For me, it was just like super convenient, right? It was in a spray can. You could, it was like versus oil. You're trying to pour it out. You're trying to get it all on you. It's very difficult, just messy. I don't know.
Yeah, I still recommend the Pam.
Yeah,
no one uses it anymore here. But the thing with Jantan opposing oil, the other opposing oil, you put it on, sucks into your skin. You put it on, sucks into your skin. Pam, it would stay on, and you got that nice glossy thing. But yeah, Texas. If you got caught using Pam, you would get kicked out. And the wine drinking, about 10 years ago about 15 years ago, that was the rule too. If they catch you drinking wine.
And what was the downside? What was the downside to that?
People would go up on stage a little drunk, and couple of bikini girls made a fool of themselves, falling with on the heels and everything. And people were not just taking sips, Chris. People were getting drunk backstage.
You were going Kevin Levrone on it, man.
Yeah, they were getting drunk backstage.
Yeah, that's funny.
Chris, let me ask you something, Chris, real quick. How come you haven't put on a show, the Chris Cook Classic or something?
Man, because I've been gone for so long. It's an interesting thing, right? Because over just the last year, I've decided to start leaning back into it and leverage what I did. So it's not for any other reason beyond me not feeling that I had much equity in the sport anymore. And it's and this is my heart speaking. I've been kind of amazed, like since I started leaning into social again and just getting back out there, how many people have come back, right, in a sense, and welcomed me, and it's been a very warm, experience. So because of that, now I'm like, I'm really, man, I'm a little twisted up because I'm training now. Like, I'm not doing any more jujitsu. I'm training really heavy. I'm going hard. I really think I want to do the Masters Olympia as a result of this. And
Wow.
I know it sounds a little crazy. I'll be 50 years old if I did it in September, but it's like, fuck it, why not, in a sense? But I'm not there all the way, but I'm like, I'm just enjoying being back in the process. But that's why I never pushed anything like that, because I just didn't think that I had any more equity in the sport. And it's very fickle. Like, I just remember the conversation we had where, dude, within 6 months to a year of me basically disappearing, I mean, people don't even answer your calls anymore. And certainly no one calls you. It's like, and I just felt like, man, like I was really let down by that.
Yeah, but Chris, we're living in a different era now, bro.
Yeah.
All you got to do is get back on your Instagram and your social
Social media,
start posting pictures, and people are like, holy shit.
Right.
Is that really you? Is that what's going on? And then, of course, the photographers, like I get contacted by Ralph DeHaan, and Ralph starts posting pictures like he did yesterday. He put a picture of a collage of 7 pros. I was one of them. And I got like 100 people saying, holy shit, King, blah, blah. Yeah, you can do it. And guess what? You killed yourself for the sport. You sacrificed for the sport. You did everything for the sport. The sport should give back to you.
Yeah.
So as your friend, I will turn around and say to you, why not? The Chris Cook Classic, you'll get about 2,000 bikini girls. You get about 200 men's a classic. You'll get about 400 men's physique because they don't want to train their legs. You're going to get all these things. Bodybuilding, you might get 10, 40. It's dying a little bit, but still, that's a lot of money for one night. And if you put on a show, people will be like, wow, Chris did a really, really good job. That's what I did, man. I put on the King Kamali Classic one time, and I got Batista to fucking come. I had to call fucking Vince McMahon and get permission, because I was like, listen, and Vince knew me. He's like, yeah, that's fine. You can have him for a day, blah, blah, blah. I had Bob Ciccarello come. I had a guy open up the show with the electric guitar. I had a Jan Tanner put a pro female bodybuilding. I treated those female bodybuilders so good that they cried backstage, and they said, you treated us better than fucking the IFBB has ever.
Yeah, of course.
And all I did, honestly, was have 2 huge tables of cake, fruit, pizza. What is that? What, like $500? Big deal.
Yeah, right.
I fed everybody backstage. Everybody had and instead of these little trophies nowadays, I gave out 4-foot trophies.
Nice.
It looked incredible on stage,
Well,
but
King, we talked.
I didn't make as much as the next guy.
We talked about doing it in Texas, right? And here's the deal with going on Texas now. Since Texas is a huge bodybuilding state now, you got people that they have certain shows, and they're making it very hard if you want to get in and have your show. And a couple people got, like, Johnny's show used to be in Fort Worth every year. He's out in El Paso now. El Paso. And, Prince, do you know Prince, Chris?
Yeah.
Okay. So Prince, me and him great friends for years. And then, I guest pose at the shows. I'm at a show every year. I support him, putting my clients in it. He used to have 2 shows in Texas. Lee Thompson got rid of one of his when Lee Thompson was our chairman. And then now I talked to him about a year ago. They were trying to, people that are in charge now, they're trying to get rid of his other show now. And he was fighting to keep his show. And they're making it very hard for certain people are having the majority of the shows in Texas. And if you're trying to they're making it very, very hard. You're wanting to have your own show.
That sucks, because if you had someone, because I only go to one person, okay, and he is like my big brother. All right, me and him have fought before. He's yelled at me before. We've had arguments before, but through all this shit, I can still call him up, and he can still call me up, and we're like that. And that's Steve Weinberger. Okay, I go to Steve. I'm like, and that's what I did when I put my show on. I said, I would like to put on the show. He said, okay, well, you know which date you want to put on? I say, no, can we work this out? And he helped me through the entire process to go, if you got a Weinberger, someone like that, that's the person to go to, because there's nobody like, listen, Steve is tough and he'll yell at you. And, you know, he got mad at me the time he called me up. He goes, why the fuck did you say that? Blah, blah. And the greatest Weinberger story for me is when I placed at the Night of Champions, even though everyone thought it was between me and Victor, he came after the show because there was a 1 minute standing of people saying bullshit. It was the best bullshit chant, Chris, you ever heard. I just stood there on stage like this, going like this, and listening to them, and I saw the judges' faces all pissed off. When I'm taking my oil off and clothes back on and go meet my family after the show, Steve busts into my room, slams the door, and says, I don't want to hear shit in the magazines. You keep your fucking mouth shut, take it like a man, and come back better. Do you understand me? And I just said, yes. That's it. Yeah.
Well, King, you know, Steve and some other people aren't seeing eye to eye right now that are high up, and that's a problem right now.
Well, again, man, that's what you get when you're dealing with the NPC and the IFBB and stuff like that. I learned a long time ago just to go with the flow, be honest, and keep in communication with these people. That's it. A lot of people go out and they do this and do that. And listen, nowadays it's completely different. Back in the day, we didn't have social media. Now we do. Right now, one little thing, and you got about 200,000 people that are going to jump on your ass immediately like this. It's a whole different world now. Again, I go back and say, there are some good guys left. I don't like the fact that there's you can have this show, you can't have that show. That Texas seems a little iffy. Weinberger's not like that.
Yeah.
He's not
Chris,
like that.
What belt are you in jiu-jitsu? This person asked.
I'm a secondary black belt. Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome.
I literally, the day I retired from bodybuilding, I drove John McCarthy's Ultimate Training Academy in Santa Clarita and started training to fight. I wanted to fight. And of course, jiu-jitsu is a big piece of that. And I've been doing it ever since. I stopped literally about 6 months ago because, no, man, I hurt my fucking shoulder again. Dude, I've had 2 shoulder surgeries, 2 knee surgeries.
That's the problem with jiu-jitsu. You get hurt easily.
Yeah, 2 hand surgeries, a jaw surgery. Like, bro, I'm just tired of being broken apart. And dude, there's nothing better. I love jiu-jitsu. It's, you know, I've been wrestling since I was, you know, in 2nd grade. So, but I just met my body. And then whereas I can train in the gym and get big, and I'm not hurting. I'm not breaking stuff apart. You know, so yeah, I just kind of was like, man, I'm just going to lean into this for a little bit. And the thing is that my body starts responding. And then, you know, dude, you start getting that pump again. You start looking in the mirror and you're like, oh man, you know,
oh yeah,
maybe, you know, like, is it kind of stupid for me to think about doing this again? Right. And then I'm like, well, you know, I bounced up from 220 up to like 245 in a snap without doing anything different chemically. I just started training. Right. And I'm like, all right, well, what if I take my test up to 400? You know, what if I start doing a little bit of equipoise or DECA, right? Or, you know, like it just starts, you're like, well, maybe I can turn this on and give it, you know, I saw Kevin LeBron step up at 52, right?
Every month, just add a new compound until you get to like 20 compounds.
Yeah, that's the new way, right?
My recommendation to you, Chris, is to follow your heart, but do it in the sense that you're a dad now, bro.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's a problem, yeah.
Because that's kryptonite. That's my kryptonite. Whenever I start thinking about something and when I say to myself, you know what, man, I'm 270 pounds and all I'm doing is taking 1 or maximum 2 shots of test a week. What'll happen if I do trend? And then suddenly I look at my daughter's picture and a big slap comes across my face. I'm like, all right, I gotta stop.
But the 2 shots are in a 5 ml syringe, so that's
that's what I learned on our first podcast. Is there because I said I took 2 shots, or all I took was 3. Max and I did was 3 shots of Sustanon. They're like, yeah, like
they didn't understand.
4 milliliter shots each time. I'm like, no. Yeah. By the way, just for clarity, that's 750 milligrams of testosterone. But you're right, King. And the thing is, though, here's the difference between your position and mine, man, is, and I mean, prospectively, is that you got to see yours through, maybe not never going to be satisfied, right?
No.
But
I don't think anybody is ever satisfied with
no, for
exiting the
sure.
sport.
But for me, man, dude, I think it's a total of either 5 or 6 pro shows. And I was just still learning. And there's so many unanswered questions for me. And dude, I stopped to have kids. Well, I got 4 kids now, bro. So
Right.
I'm like, oh man, because it's just that it's an internal need to, it's the whole reason
Like Rocky said, there's still stuff in the face.
Yeah.
There's still stuff in there. Yeah.
It's in your gut, man. And
Yeah.
and like why not one more little go round and like I could probably bounce up to like 260, 270 pretty easily. And then when I say easily, through a process and then just bring it back and show up. Who cares, man?
As long as you're staying healthy, your blood pressure's in check, everything's in check. Why not? Just take it how it goes.
And also think about the Chris Cook class. I know I planted a seed in your head, man.
No, listen, I'm down. I mean, let's talk about this. Like I'm totally down. It'll be fun. And I think what came to mind when you were talking about the experience that your athletes had at your show, the reason why is because that was all you're doing for them is the stuff that you needed when you were.
It was to me, it was so logical. One other thing that I did, other than the Batista and all that stuff, one other thing that I did was I hired 2 cute little girls from the gym to stand on either side of the judging panel and then be at their beck and call. Yeah. I said, whatever the judges need, just go do it for them. Right. And you won't believe the response I got.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
What do you mean? I'm like, just ask Nicole what you want, and she got it for you. And Nicole, she's just like, yes, can I get you guys anything? Yeah, some water. Sure. Boom, done. Just the little things like that. And I gave each of them $50.
Right.
That's it. $50 each to go stand there for a couple hours during prejudging, a couple hours during the finals, and they enjoyed the whole thing. They were like, "Oh, the bodybuilding was so cool," and thank you, and
that's awesome, man.
Easy.
Beast it out, homie. Don't let your kids and girl hold you back from your own satisfaction. This guy says. Okay, guys, we're past an hour, so if you're a competitor watching, learn from this. Control your emotions. Build your physique in silence.
Yeah, there's just one small piece I want to say about that, just real quick, man. Yeah. Dude, I got real mixed up. King, that same era of the boards, right? It was the GetBig.com board, and then what was the other one? There was one other one I forget, but nonetheless, I really did have to go through a process of figuring out that the person behind, right, the man behind the mask of these comments and things were completely irrelevant. But it did affect me heavily. Like I took everything very personally, like the way that Martin is dealing with things. And, it's an emotionally charged situation because you've got to get to the place where you just don't take it personally, where it's irrelevant. And I hope that for him, because he's got a physique that has the ability to be a contender at the highest level. And so, as he settles into his maturity there, I think good things are to come. But, I don't want to beat up on him too much because dude, I kind of went through it too, man. I mean, I had a thing with Chris Cormier years ago, man, where Chris just kind of gave his opinion. This is after I think I won the 03 USA or something. And I was like all butthurt about it. So I made a comment to him when I guest posed at the Excalibur in LA, because he was in the crowd. And I'm like, yeah, Chris Cormier, what now? Right. Kind of thing. And dude, Chris was pissed. And right. I see this dude every day. And then by the time you work that out, it's like, all right, I just was being reactive to something I didn't even need to be reactive to. And he wasn't actually even being a punk. Right. So, that's the advice I would give this young man is man, you got to settle in. Just understand you're in a sport where, yeah, everybody's going to have a fucking opinion. So you kind of just got to get used to it.
Yeah. Well, Chris, we'll hit the gym eventually when I get healthy, since we're close now and all that, guys. So, okay. So guys, if this guy's hit home, make sure you subscribe, leave a comment, and we'll see you guys next time on Iron OGs. Peace.
Later, Chris.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Later, guys. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye-bye.